Hey, ladies and gents, it's Zem, and we are going to do. I'm gonna start a new series again here with. We're going to label this map tactics, and this is going to be my opinion, reasoning behind how to play these maps. Of course, everybody's going to have an opinion on this, but I'm going to give you my reasoning behind it, and typically what I find successful in how I'm, whether or not I'm going to win the map or not, or win the game. And there's always going to be these outlier factors of how or not why you won the game or not. But this is what it seems to be, at least for my opinion, how these maps play out, and hopefully how you win them, right? So, what are center objective maps? Well, they're these maps that are symmetrical, and what I mean by symmetrical, there is, for this instance, they have three objectives here, and they're all equally spaced distances from your spawn points. Plus, they're all equally distanced this way too. And there's several of these different kinds. Sometimes these have 5 objectives on it, with 1 in the center and 2 on the outside. 4 on the outside and 1 in the center. And this one of course, has 2 on the outside and 1 in the center. But they're all pretty much symmetrical maps, right? They all have a center objective. Now, these maps are known for huge combat scores. My highest combat score was one on these was one on one of these maps, which was I had 28,000 in a lag, an LAG, almost 29,000 combat points, I believe, if I remember correctly. Sergeant Slaughter's TA-152 was on one of these center maps. I had a KI-84 game that I posted too, which was one of these center objective maps. All Useless Stuff just sent me one here. I believe his was in a hurricane. Yeah, what was it? Yeah, he did it in a hurricane too. And I've never seen a score this high of 33,000. So I'll give you a shout out, buddy. You sent me this email for bragging rights, and that's impressive, 33,000. But he did it also on one of these center maps, which of course I believe was Silence of Ice. Once again, a center objective map. Now, what's interesting about these maps is they kind of mix it up. What kind of objective is on the outside, what's on the inside, or what's on the center objective. Now, this comes from the reason I'm doing this comes from a question one of the subscribers asked. Why did I go to the center and why don't I start on the outside and work my way? Blah blah blah. That was the extent of the question: is how are you choosing which objectives to go to first? And why, or do you go to the center objective right away, or do you start on the outside? And this is entirely dependent on what the center objective is. In this map, for example, I'm just going to use this map off. This is one of the easier maps to do. Other than do through all that stuff is because the center objective on this map is a airbase, and the outside two are garrisons. So if I was going to play this map, I would go directly to the center. And work my way out. That's my thinking because of the strategic value of the airbase. It allows you respawns, allows you faster respawns, allows you to respawn in center, allows you to change airplanes, and a lot of times it might have a wrench so you can repair aircraft. To me, that objective is more important than the garrisons to take first. So on this map, I would go directly to center, and once I took the center objective, then I would worry about the outside garrisons and working on them first. Now, the reason why people get such huge combat scores on these kind of center objective maps is because of the way the bots behave, right? So they're going to continue coming to the center objective. Light fighters, GAs, especially if the outside objectives are already taken, the outside objectives already taken, the center objective, they're just going to pile into that sucker. They're just going to keep respawning and coming back, respawning and coming back. And this is why you see these huge combat scores on these center objective maps. Because once the outside objectives are taken, they all come middle. And especially if you own middle, they'll just keep coming to the middle. And that's why you see these huge combat scores. And if you work it out right, you can knock one airplane out and knock the next airplane out, and then when they respawn, they're just coming back in one at a time or two at a time, and they're a lot easier to deal with, and it's just a matter of just keep racking up the scores and killing them as they come back to the objective. That's the reason why you're seeing these huge combat scores on these center objectives, is because of the bot behavior, and a lot of times the human behavior, because everybody wants that objective that's important. The humans will just keep coming back to that center objective too. So now on this map, like I said, this is entirely dependent, of course, on what the center objective is, or what the objectives are on the map. How are you going to do this? Are you going to go start on the outside and work your way in, or are you going to start on the inside and work your way out? Right? It entirely depends on what the objectives are. This map, since this objective is an airbase, I'm going to start in the center, work my way out. However, on the, say this one, which is my video is going to be on, I'm going to work on my way out because the outside objectives are more significant than the center objective. So obviously with the missile bases, I want to take a missile base because it's going to allow me to take the center objective. So I'll start on the outside and work my way in, just the opposite of the other one. Entirely based on objective. That's the biggest difference in these maps. So let's get to the replay, and I'll give you guys my thinking behind this. And I'm actually going to be playing with the Yak 19, and yeah, it'll be highly entertaining. Actually, not really, but makes for good video, right? All right, guys, we're back with the video, and we're going to do this center objective video, and I'm going to do try to explain some of my reasoning behind this. We are going to drop in on the obviously, with the missile bases, these objectives are more important than the center garrison, and you're going to see me, of course, work my way from the outside objective into the center for this reason. If you take the outside objective, you're going to have a better chance, since it's a missile base, to take the center objective. So this is the reason why you're seeing me go to the outside and go to the center, vice versa. Like I said, it's all objective dependent. So I'm going to drop in on here. I'm playing of course, the Yak 19, which has a nice set of 23 millimeters on them. They're fairly long range guns, and they do hit pretty well if you can get a nice burst into things. So I'm going to deal with these GAs here, and you'll see this most of the time with these three objective maps with a center one like that. You're going to get GAs going one or the other, so you're most likely always going to run into some enemy red fighter on these objectives, or in this case I'm going to try to take out the two heavy fighters that usually roam around over here. Of course, I still have a enemy GA here, but I got kind of beat up to shit here by his one tail gunner and some AA and all that kind of stuff. If you guys don't know about this, and I'll explain right here, you'll notice that this air defense fighter is way outside of the red. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is if the red player is outside of it, then you're not going to get the objective points. The white, if he leaves the objective circle, still doesn't matter. If you shoot him down, you still get the objective points. So hence why I'm out here. I'm going to try to finish him off here quick, because I was tired of getting shot from the rear by these ME410s. So flip the cap back, and it's taking me a little bit longer than it needs to be because for some reason my GAs weren't as good as the enemy GAs. Now I had actually upped the GAs to veteran bots, so these GAs are quite a bit better than the warrior ones, and sometimes better than the human pilots. So finally get the objective turned about halfway, and of course I get killed by the Yak 19 that comes in. We're going to do a little fast forward here, and we can get back into the game, and we're back. So I still want that objective. I need that objective, of course, and this is of course I'm going back here to get it. The center objective is turned. I'm not terribly worried about it because they haven't turned the other missile objective. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because if anybody's not noticed this yet, missile bases will not fire at other missile bases. So the whole point of having one of these missile bases is they're just going to constantly shoot at the red garrison. Mine will. This missile base over here, as long as this garrison is red, will not fire the whole game. It will never fire a missile as long as this is red, because it will not fire at another missile base. Something to remember when you're playing these games. So now this, since this garrison is red, and I take the missile base here, the blue missile base will of course shoot at the red garrison. But once I turn this blue, the blue missile base will not shoot at the red missile base. So it's something to remember, something to think about. I'm not like I said, not terribly sure how many people actually knew that, but hey, there it is. So back in here, got the other Yak 19 right there. We're gonna see if we can knock him out. I really need to get this objective done. Yeah, like I said, them guns have really nice range and lets you. Not just the nice range, but they do have some excellent accuracy. Surprisingly enough, you don't really have to worry too much about with these guns not hitting your target. So finally starting to get it turned blue here. I got to get this ME410 one more time, and I'm going to flip this objective. Okay, so pick up the military base, and now we're going to go back. Now I've picked up the outside. Now I'm going to work my way to the center here. We're going to run this GA off. Now I don't have to deal with him, and you'll see now that my missile base, of course, is starting to shoot rockets at the center. And since they can't stop the rockets, there's no. I mean, I don't even have to really even shoot anything down here. Those rockets are going to continue to drop on the center until it turns blue. Now, in fact, actually, I think it's one more here. I do believe it's 6 or 7 rockets to take an objective. You guys will have to correct me on that. I do believe it's 6. I think it's 7 to take that. So now that we have the objective, you'll see that the objective, this missile base, is no longer firing missiles. It will not fire at another well, until this turns red. But once it turns red, this missile base will not fire missiles at this objective. And I don't know why that was there. I've actually never really noticed it until like probably the last couple weeks, and I started looking at it. I was like, why isn't that stupid missile base firing missiles? You'll see right now, of course, it's counting down a timer, but there is no actual missile leaving the base and going anywhere. Yeah, don't ask me why, because of course by now the missile would have already hit this base over here, and this missile base hasn't turned. So these missile bases will not actually fire at each other, only at the time. And here we go. See, now you'll see that they turn the missile objective, or the missile base, over here, and now it's firing back at my center objective. So now this is where it comes really interesting on these maps. How to win these is it actually has to do with somewhat of timing. You got to be able to keep red planes in the center, so you can keep shooting them down. But this is another little tip or tactic, I should say, and I don't know how many people actually know this, but if you are a defending fighter inside of a blue objective, when you shoot down a red plane, they are only worth 40 points. However, if you are an attacking plane, a red pilot, and you shoot down a blue pilot in a blue objective, they get 60 points. So the attackers always have the advantage over the defenders in a blue objective. The red pilots are always going to have an advantage over you because they're going to get more points by shooting you down in your own objective. Something to remember when you're playing the game is that getting shot down in your own objective is worth 60 points. You shooting down a red player in the objective is only worth 40. Now, you can of course see that the missile base is firing rockets at my objective, and unfortunately I ran this guy out of here. I wish I wouldn't have. I should have just let him keep coming into the objective and then shot him down, which allows me to keep turning back the objective no matter how many times they fire the missile. I can keep turning it back, and it's kind of like I said, you want red planes in there to shoot down so you can keep the objective. Otherwise, right now there's nothing I can do. That the red missile base is going to take my objective no matter what. It'll just keep firing at it and firing at it till it takes it. So that's why you see me here leaving. I'm going to go over here and try to take this objective and stop the missile attack. And, you know, once again, this is all about where the planes are at, where the enemy planes are at. Since there's no red planes over here and there's just defense bots, and I have some GAs here, I'm going to come over here and cover my GAs' butts and finish off these heavy planes so they can go unmolested to finish off the objective. So you'll see there they've taken the center. Nothing I can do about it because there was nothing in the center to shoot down to keep the objective from being taken. But by shooting down those two heavy bombers, or those two heavy fighters, allows my GAs to finish up their little bit of work here, and now I can come back to center and try to take center back, because now my missile base finally has something to shoot at, and it starts back up again, and it's going to start dropping rockets on the center objective. And right about there, here they come. Here comes the rockets to the center, and you know, we're back in style here, where we have a chance once again to take the center objective because it has something to shoot at. I don't know why the missile bases work this way. They just do. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Finally, my bot GAs take the other missile base and allows us to take complete control of the center. So you guys hope you kind of understand what I'm rambling around here about, why this works the way it does. You know, with the center objective here being not that important, taking the outside objectives and working your way in works just fine. Now, of course, if this was a command center and there was two garrisons outside, I'd want the command center because that's going to bring up my bombers, which allows me to take these other garrisons, draws off fighters left and right to try to shoot down the bombers. You know, there's all kinds of this little bit of reasoning going on here. It's all objective dependent on where you want to go and how you want to do it. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm sure you guys leave down the comments below, and you know, you guys can let me know about what you think of my my map tactics videos. So, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.